Change management by Jones HMMBADMS. Change management is a term used to refer to the introduction of new processes in an organization or the management of people who are experiencing change in order to improve job performance or quality of service. Quality improvement. It is the process of engaging appropriate methodologies and quality management tools to close the gap between current and expected levels of quality. Organizational change is defined as the movement of an organization away from its present state and toward some desired future state to increase its efficiency and effectiveness. Quality assurance. It is a systematic, ongoing and continuous review, analysis and evaluation of the level of compliance with the standards set at local, national and international level. It is all the processes within the health system that leads to the institutionalization of a culture of doing the right things right, all the time. List 5. Indications for change. Indications for change. 1. Conflicts. 2. Introduction of new technology. 3. Changing needs of the society, e.g. new diseases. 4. Changes in service delivery system. 5. Flesh ideas and knowledge. 6. New case management process and procedures. 7. Introduction of new drugs. Outline 3. Stages of change. Stages of change. Unfreezing. This involves making need for change so obvious so that it can be understood and be accepted, easily accepted people can by people changing. It is the stage of moving or implementing the change. A change agent may be needed to foster new values, attitudes and behavior. Refreezing. In this stage, newly introduced change is reinforced, supported so that it becomes a new norm. Describe 4 steps that you are going to take as a ward manager to effect change in your ward. 4 steps exist in organizational change. 1. Assessing the need for change. First, I will assess the need for change through recognizing that a problem exists and identifying the problem's source. In a ward setup, this will be done by identifying the gaps in nursing care and the causes of the problem, identifying the gaps in the ward procedures and daily routine by comparing with the recommended practice. 2. Deciding on the change needed to be made. Secondly, I will decide on the change needed to be made by deciding what is the ward's ideal future state, as well as the obstacles that may occur during change. 3. Applying the change. Thirdly, I will apply the change and decide whether change will occur from the top down or bottom up, then introduce and manage change. 4. Evaluating the change. Lastly, I will evaluate the change by comparing the situation before and after the change or using benchmarking. Theories of change. 1. Lewin's change theory. Kurt Lewin's change theory is widely used in nursing and involves 3 stages: the unfreezing stage, moving stage, and refreezing stage. Lewin's theory depends on the presence of driving and resistant forces. The driving forces are the change agents who push employees in the direction of change. The resistant forces are employees or nurses who do not want the proposed change. For this theory to be successful, the driving force must dominate the resistant force. 2. Rogers' change theory. Everett Rogers modified Lewin's change theory and created a 5-stage theory of his own. The 5 stages are awareness, interest, evaluation, implementation, and adoption. This theory is applied to long-term change projects. It is successful when nurses who ignored the proposed change earlier adopt it because of what they hear from nurses who adopted it initially. 3. Spradley's change theory. This is an 8-step process for planned change based on Lewin's theory of change. It makes provision for constant evaluation of the change process to ensure its success. The steps are: recognize the symptoms, diagnose the problem, analyze alternative solutions, select the change, plan the change, implement the change, evaluate the change, and stabilize the change. Types of change. Different types of change. Planned change. Planned change is also regarded as the developmental change. This is a type of change which is implemented with the objective of improving the present ways of operation and to achieve the predefined goals. Planned change is calculated and is not threatening as in this the future state is being chosen consciously. Accidental reactive change. This is a type of change which takes place in response to an event or a chain of various events. Most of the organizations indulge in reactive change. This kind of change usually occurs when there is an increase or decrease in the demand for companies' products or services. It can also be a response to a problematic situation or a crisis which an organization may be faced with. For example, due to the advancements in technology or growing technological changes, an organization may be forced to invest more in technology to stay ahead to face the stiff competition. Recreation can also be regarded as a reactive change, which involves the entire organization and occurs during the stage when an organization is undergoing a serious crisis. Happen change. This kind of a change happens when an organization reaches the plateau stage in its life cycle and gets victimized by the environmental pressures or demands. For example, currency devaluation may adversely affect the business of those organizations who have to depend upon importing of raw materials largely. In certain cases, some political, as well as social changes, are unpredictable and uncontrollable. This kind of change is unpredictable in nature and usually takes place due to the impact of the external factors. Happen change is profound and can be traumatic as its consequences are unknown and out of direct control. Anticipatory change. This is a type of change that occurs with prior anticipation of the happening of an event or a chain of events. Organizations may either tune in or reorient themselves as an anticipatory measure to face the environmental pressures. Incremental change. This is a type of change which is implemented at the micro level, units or subunits of an organization. Incremental changes are introduced or implemented gradually and are adaptive in nature. It is based on the assumption that these small changes will ultimately result in a large change and establish the basis for forming a much healthier and a robust system. It even offers an opportunity to an organization to learn from its very own experiences and create the adaptive mechanisms for meeting the ultimate organizational vision. The extent of damage due to a failed incremental change effort is expected to be much lesser than the change which is implemented on a large scale or introduced universally. Operational change. Operational change, as the name implies, means introducing changes in the existing operations for realizing the intended goals. This may include bringing in changes in the current technology, improving re-engineering the existing work processes, improving the distribution framework or the product delivery, better quality management and improving the coordination at an interdepartmental level. This kind of change becomes a requirement or the need when an organization is faced with competitive pressures, as a result of which the focus is laid more on quality improvement or improvement in the delivery of services for an edge over the competitors. Strategic change. Strategic change is usually implemented at the organizational level, which may affect the various components of an organization and also the organizational strategy. A change in the management style in an organization could be considered as an example of strategic change. Total change. A total change involves change in the organizational vision and striking a harmonious alignment with the organizational strategy, employee morale and commitment, as well as with the business performance. Total change becomes a requirement during those circumstances when an organization is faced with many criticalities such as long-term business failure, incongruence between the employee and organizational values, failure of leaders' management in anticipating the realities of business environment, or the growing competitive pressures and concentration of power in the hands of few. Fundamental change. Fundamental change essentially involves the redefinition of organizational vision mission. This may be required during extremely volatile circumstances like volatility in the business environment, failure of the leadership, a decline in productivity, as well as the overall turnover or problems with the morale of the employee.